If you read enough, there's a similarity between things that make it easy because this thing is like this other thing. If you have a broad framework, then you have a place to put everything. If you want to learn science, reading the history of scientists and the story of scientists about when they were confused and what tools or insights allowed them to make the progress they make. So you have the timeline, or you have the map, or you have the branches of science and what's known and what's not known. So incremental knowledge is so much easier to maintain in a rich way than, the first time, somebody is telling you about Rome. Why am I reading about Rome? I'm reading about Queen Victoria. At first it is very daunting, but then as you get the kind of scope, then all these pieces fit in. So it's fun to say, okay, this is where this belongs, and oh, does this contradict something I knew before? And I better look that up, I better figure it out. It really bothers you when you read things and there's some inconsistency. If you take a chessboard and randomly place the pieces and ask a chess person to memorize it, they can't do it because everything about chess positions is about the logic of how things developed. So if you show them a position that's illogical or incorrect, you would never get to, their encoding system isn't set up to absorb that.
There's a big debate happening in Washington, D.C. right now about immigration. You said in 2009 in India, you said U.S. immigration laws should make an exception for what you call smart people. What would you like to see in immigration reform to keep that talent in this country?
Well, the United States has benefited from the fact that capable people, whether you call that smart or whatever word you use, have wanted to come to the United States. So whether it's South America, Asia, Europe, we have been a magnet for talent. And that's partly why, with a higher defense budget, medical budget, why we can continue to be such an exemplar. It's partly why our universities are so strong. And yet our immigration system makes it very hard for those people to come in. So, if somebody's being offered a job here for over $100,000, and there's other jobs created around that job, you don't want to discourage a company from having to put that job.
Do we discourage them now?
Oh, absolutely.
How?
You can be a student at UC Berkeley, foreign born, get this wonderful subsidized education. Microsoft offers you a job for over $100,000 a year, and we have to say if the country will keep you. And most of those students are told they can't stay. Get out of the United States.
So they take the education, they go start a company somewhere else.
They have to go to Canada or India or somewhere else. No other country does it that way. And most of the immigration proposals do look at those students and say, yes, let's keep them here.
You see consensus on that, then, you think?
Yes, although, the broad issue of how do we make sure in these technology areas where we're so short that we both invest domestically in improving education while we allow these to come in. It'll be interesting how this shapes up. But
we have to
yes,
import talent and grow talent.
Yeah, it's more promising now than it has been. Microsoft even made a proposal, which may or may not be adopted, that the fee for these visas be increased and that go back into science and math education. So it's great to see this problem the U.S. has is getting onto the front burner. We may see progress here because on both sides of the aisle, people are saying some of the right things. The numbers here are not anywhere comparable to the illegal immigration, and I'd love to see us solve illegal immigration, a tougher problem. The high talent immigration has kind of been held hostage to that broader problem.
You think they'll fix both?
Well, the ideal is to fix both. If you could fix neither, you'd at least want to go and fix the high skills thing. But for the first time in many years, I see a real prospect that they'll actually fix both.
If they fix either the talent part of it or the whole immigration problem, is it something that unleashes finally some job growth in the American economy?
It will be helpful. It means that we're taking this advantage that we have and not throwing it away. And the country needs to improve the education system, because we'll be constantly hitting a bottleneck that the number of jobs for high school dropouts or people who only have high school education, that's going down. And so more than this economic cycle, unemployment will be determined by educational achievement.